Welcome to Beautiful Mind. I was thinking the other day, what actually separates a life that's just merely lived from one that is truly, deeply experienced? Today, we're diving into a full-on explainer about the psychology of human flourishing. We're going to explore the internal architecture that transforms an ordinary, day-to-day existence into something absolutely extraordinary.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Why do some people just keep growing and smashing their goals their entire lives, while others just hit a wall and stop progressing? Why do some folks realize their grandest dreams, while others with the exact same talent and resources really struggle? The answer? Well, it usually comes down to three massive pillars: goals, wisdom, and lifelong learning. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with the psychology of meaning, move right into goal setting and direction, check out the power of wisdom, and then explore the lifelong learning journey. After that, we'll map out some real-life paths to success, and finally wrap it all up with how this creates a meaningful, fulfilling life.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the psychology of meaning, the absolute foundation of flourishing. Positive psychology zeroes in on three deeply interconnected strengths. We're talking about clear goals, wisdom in your decision-making, and an absolute, unshakable commitment to lifelong learning. And hey, don't think of these as just random boxes to check off a list. They're more like a living, breathing ecosystem. When you get these three elements working together in harmony, continuous personal growth isn't just a possibility, it literally becomes inevitable.
Moving right along to Section 2, goal setting and direction, transforming dreams into action.
Look, without goals, positive psychology notes were honestly just like a tiny paper boat adrift at sea. You know the feeling? Confused, completely unmotivated, just drifting wherever the current takes you. But the second you inject a meaningful goal into the mix, whether that's an academic target or a huge career ambition, bam, you are a rocket ship with a locked-in trajectory. We flip the switch from feeling stagnant to being incredibly focused and quietly confident. And these meaningful goals don't just give us a spot on the map to aim for, they actually rewire how we experience our day-to-day lives. They act like a giant magnifying glass to focus our attention amidst endless distractions, and they absolutely crank up our motivation. Plus, they act as an anchor to improve our persistence when things get tough. Every little win builds your confidence muscle, and the whole shebang leads to a much, much greater sense of life satisfaction. Okay, but how do we actually set goals that stick? We've all done the whole New Year's resolution that completely magically disappears by February, right? Well, effective goals share 6 key characteristics. They've got to be specific and they've got to be crystal clear. They need to be realistic, so no, I want to be an astronaut by tomorrow stuff, but also challenging enough to push you. And finally, they must be measurable and time-bound, so you actually know when you've crossed the finish line.
Which brings us to Section 3. The power of wisdom, navigating life's journey. Now, wisdom is a fascinating concept. We aren't just talking about raw intelligence or acing a test here. Wisdom is the sophisticated ability to actually apply your knowledge, your past experience, and your good judgment to the messy, unpredictable realities of life. It's knowing not just what to do on paper, but deeply understanding the delicate nuances of when and how to do it in practice. Wise individuals approach life a bit like a strategic game of chess. It definitely doesn't happen overnight. It develops over time. They consistently think carefully and weigh those long-term consequences, rather than blindly grabbing for quick, short-term wins. They're always learning from their experiences. They make a genuine effort to understand completely different perspectives. And ultimately, they use all of that to make incredibly balanced decisions. So why does this matter so much out there in the real world? Well, wisdom is basically your emotional shock absorber. It lets you solve problems effectively and handle chaotic, difficult situations with grace. It's the secret ingredient to building healthy relationships, making responsible decisions, and, crucially, maintaining your emotional balance when life gets incredibly stressful. Let's shift gears to Section 4, the lifelong learning journey, the absolute engine of our personal growth. Here is a huge truth bomb for you. Learning absolutely does not end the day you toss your graduation cap in the air. Leaving the classroom doesn't mean we stop expanding our minds. Lifelong learning is an active, deliberate choice to acquire new knowledge and experiences throughout your entire life. It's recognizing that the world itself is a limitless classroom. If you look closely at lifelong learners, you'll notice a few things. They remain wildly, endlessly curious about the world. They don't panic when things shift. They just adapt to change and start developing new skills. They actively seek out personal growth. And get this, every time you learn something new, you literally light up new neural pathways. This allows lifelong learners to maintain cognitive flexibility and a distinct mental youthfulness no matter their age. Embracing this continuous learning mindset is a massive game changer for keeping you relevant. It improves your confidence because you know you can figure things out. It radically enhances your adaptability, opens up a ton of new opportunities, and keeps you totally mentally active. More than anything, it lets you tap into a profound sense of personal fulfillment that you just can't get from standing still.
All right, Section 5, Real-Life Paths to Success, taking a look at growth across the lifespan.
It is genuinely amazing to watch how these pillars seamlessly build over a lifetime. In the student phase, you're mostly setting academic goals and figuring out the basics. Then you hit the professional phase where you're constantly upgrading your skills and adopting new tech to stay sharp. And it absolutely doesn't stop there. By the older adult phase, you might be mastering new languages or picking up complex hobbies. The integration of goals, wisdom, and learning is a beautiful, never-ending cycle. And finally, Section 6, a meaningful, fulfilling life. Let's synthesize all of this together. When you combine these three strengths, goals, wisdom, and learning, absolute magic happens. They aren't isolated skills. They actively promote deep meaning and purpose in your day-to-day existence. They fuel your continuous growth, build up an incredible level of resilience, and dramatically boost your overall well-being and life satisfaction. They literally construct the unbreakable foundation of a good life. If we had to boil this entire explainer down to its absolute essence, it's this. Goals provide your direction, wisdom provides your guidance, and lifelong learning provides your continuous growth. It really is that elegantly simple. And as our source material puts it so perfectly, together they help us create a meaningful and fulfilling life. That is the ultimate purpose of this whole journey, right? We're all just trying to build a life that feels genuinely rich, well-directed, and completely realized. Thank you so much for tuning into this beautiful mind explainer. If you got something out of this, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Keep learning, keep growing, and seriously, never stop becoming a better version of yourself. But wait, our exploration into the human mind definitely doesn't stop here. Can compassion, empathy, kindness, and leadership actually make us better human beings? Join us in our next Beautiful Mind Explainer to uncover the psychology of human connection. See you then!